Hello. Welcome once again. Players are taking forever and a day to get here, but hopefully they'll be joining us shortly. What fun and games we shall have, we shall see. In the meantime, I'm trying to find something I missed last week. Were you flirting with Lucinda? Oops. Oops, wrong way around. Were you flirting with Lucinda and I completely missed that? I completely missed that. I do apologise. I shall make sure that that is of. Oh, obviously, there will. Any time you happen to, in the future, possibly visit him again, I'll make sure that I remember that one. Right. Well, it looks like we have a party of 4. I'm sure Bert and Stuckums will join us shortly. I do believe when we left you last, you had successfully rescued Lucinda from the Vault of Greed and had come back to Sandpoint, and basically the sheriff had returned with some more guards from Magnamar, and therefore you were planning to head out to Thistletop. I seem to recall. Indeed, Rooney. So, yeah. So, as I say, with that arcane, I'm waiting on the. Actually, I'll check and see if there has been an official answer. But as far as I'm concerned, I think I've already decided I like my official answer. Some of the powers in arcane conversions basically reference the divine mastery and arcane mastery options of a power. So, as in, you've got to take a very specific edge to be able to unlock the most powerful versions of the spells. What I have decided, and as I said, I did ask, I am awaiting official answer from Clint, but I only posted it today, so I'll be very surprised if he's answered already. But what I've decided anyway is if you find a scroll or spell book or tome or something else that contains that specific spell that does include the enhanced, epic power, it's part of that spell. And obviously a lot of these spells I've really limited the extra bits because they're sort of all already crafted spells, so they've already got the modifiers plugged in. You can still add in some extra ones. So like Cloud Kill can go up to 11 power points or something. But what I'm going to say is if you don't have to have the Divine Mastery Edge or the Arcane Mastery Edge to cast that spell, but it's only that spell, if that makes sense. So one of them, there's a Bolt spell that actually does 4d6 damage or 5d6 on arrays. So if you want to be able to cast that spell, you actually will have to learn it again. And you'll end up, potentially, if you've already got Bolt, it's a different spell, if that makes sense. But it's the only way until you take the Divine Mastery Edge or Arcane Mastery Edge, you can cast the super version of the spell, but only on that particular spell. I can't remember the examples, but that's how I'm going to do it. And anyway, regardless of what the official answer is, but that's my interpretation. So. Suggestion at the end of the day is still just puppet with the strong modifier, so you still can't convince someone to directly harm themselves. Indeed. So anyway, so I finished. I just literally started arcane conversions the other day, and I won't say it's finished because I've got to go back through, and I've actually got to go back through and put all the short descriptions in, because if you look at the powers list, most of them don't have descriptions at the moment. Yeah, if you just click on the powers, so you've got them all. But yeah, and I've got to put the artwork in. Yeah. So as I say, I have to be honest. The basically I was getting it ready to sort of bungle it in with the core rule set, but I've just noticed it is actually a PDF. It's a separate PDF you can buy on their website. So I suspect it will be. Probably. I'm not sure what the absolute minimum price is you can sell stuff on Steam, because I know there's a certain price which they can't go under. So it will probably be a $2 or $3. It's probably going to be a $3 module. So I will actually give it the full works, put the artwork in and polish it up, and probably do the spell lists, just because it's not going to be a freebie bungled in with the rule set. It's going to be an add-on module, just a little one. But anyway, that's by the by. Let's see what's happening today. You are in chapter 4. You are going to find. Did you find Thistletop? I think you did, didn't you? I think we did the drip. Yes. Okay, right. Well, we'll see what's happening. I think I've just realised something was muted when it shouldn't have been, but everything should be fine now. So, right. So navigate. So basically, getting to Thistletop should be interesting. So, well, the map of the guide to the Varasa book shows the location of Thistletop. If you follow the Lost Coast Road east, you reach the Thistle River crossing relatively quickly. It's only a 6-mile journey from Sandpoint, about 2 hours by foot. And in fact, the journey there is basically uneventful. However, Thistletop is located on the Varsian coast, and approaching by land. Well, as I say, as you get closer, the Nettlewood is ahead of you, and now you've got to work out how to get through the Nettlewood to get to Thistletop.
How literal is nettle?
Navigating the forest is going to be a dramatic task, apparently. And
how well does Rannick know the area up there since he grew up around here?
Probably not so well. Probably because it is the little. So Thistletop is hang on a second. Yeah. So complications. Well, yeah. Basically, Nettlewood is very much known that because it is known for having sort of poisonous plants, stinging nettles, and goblin berries, and other very unpleasant stuff. So, what we're going to do is apparently a dramatic task to find your way through the Nettlewood. So
now, everybody, stay on a path when there is a path. When there's not a path, walk. Only where Bert and I walk.
Hero.
Or maybe Arena. Because we're good in it, and the rest of you not so much.
You put short strides in, because you'll get massive long legs.
Look, just try and breathe a little bit less noisily. The dwarf breathes so loud you could hear him from a mile away, right, Irina?
Well, there's a good start. There's a good start, isn't it? Got a joker, so you'll get pennies. Dramatic task. Dramatic task. Oh, I've got myself confused now. This is more a rule set confusion than myself. I don't think jokers gave you complications.
They're still action cards.
Yeah, but I didn't think they gave you a complication. Is what I meant.
-2.
No, they don't give you a complication.
No, that's what I thought. But that's one. But one's come up, hence my confusion. I know Dondrad's hit a complication. If the actions card is the club.
Arena.
Yeah. So obviously,
and that's probably what it's doing. Is it's saying, "Hey, you got complications out here."
Yeah.
Yeah. I suspect it is.
Yeah, Dondrad and Arena have both got complications.
Yes, I suspect.
Already having a hissy fit before you dealt the cards. In the bloody forest. What's that about?
Okay,
so Bert is still distracted from last week.
Bert should not still be distracted from last week. No one should have any powers on them.
Oh, I see.
Okay, that's looking nice and neat. So, dramatic tasks. So, basically, this is a 4-round task in which Each player needs to get 4 tokens by the end of the 4 rounds. Apparently, which is science fun, doesn't it? Okay, performing the task. So basically, I'm just reading this up myself here because it's an interesting one. Okay, navigating the forest is a multi-person dramatic task that requires 4 tokens per hero. Okay, multi-person. So, performing the task, characters dealt action cards as usual. Skills accumulate. GMs could break their steps and have multiple skills, complications of clubs. Death traps. Well, we'll worry about those if that happens. If more than one person must attempt the task at once, I set a number of rounds and the tokens required for victory. So there we go. Interestingly, it doesn't. It doesn't actually tell you what skills you need. So anyway, you're navigating through. If you get a club, something's gone wrong. If a roll has failed during a complication, the dramatic task fails. So there we go. So, but anyway,
it's not letting me Benny the card. I'm trying to Benny the card to get rid of a club, and it's not letting me do it.
Which one are you dropping it on? The one in the dramatic task box, the one next to Arena's face?
The one in the dramatic task box. Is that why?
Yeah.
No, sorry, it was me being an idiot doing that.
Okay, so you want the 3 of diamonds rather than the 5 of clubs?
Yes, please.
That's no problem at all. Just you can double click on them. Okay, so basically what you're trying to do here is navigate your way through the nettlewood to basically get through to where you know, but probably none of you have ever seen Thistletop.
Okay, well, it's really easy to get lost in the woods by turning around trees and so forth. So I'm going to use my shooting to tag a tree in the distance so that we can travel a straight line to that tree.
Okay, go for it. I like it. I'm very much in favour of. Okay, so that's a 7. Are you happy? Okay.
Still a 7. You know what? One more, just because.
Just because. Okay.
Okay, there's my 8. Okay,
there's your 8. Okay. Wonderful stuff. So basically, but you find the tallest tree that you think looks a good spot, and you fire an arrow into it, and you cunningly fire it so it glints off the metal is glinting. The metal of the shaft is not completely embedded. In fact, it maybe comes through the other side and is catching the sun, so it's acting like a beacon. So whenever everyone starts to lose their way, they can look up and catch that until the cover gets too bad. Dondrad, are you going to spend a Benny, or are you going to risk it all on the Jack of Clubs?
You can choose to not roll at all.
That's true.
That's an
you
interesting
go for
question.
Fuel, yeah.
So if you run a club and you fail, it's an automatic bust, but you can choose to not roll instead.
Does it say that?
Yes.
Yes, you may choose not to attempt to roll on the turn, so it just costs you precious time. It's up to you.
Yeah, I was never happy about going through a forest anyway, right? So, and whatever I say next is getting drowned out, because people have learned to this time to tune out. He's grumpy, morose, back chat.
Dondrad just literally spends his time muttering and cursing and just following along, dragging his heels at the back of the line.
Bloody elves and forests and bushes.
I think that deserves total Benny, because he's a dwarf being pissed off that we're going into a forest.
Well, I might have given him one, but now you've tried to force one on me. I don't feel inclined to do it.
He didn't try and force it. It was me. You shouldn't punish him for that.
Rannick.
Well, Rannick, being a ranger and knowing the woods and knowing the area at least a little bit, he knows Nettlewood is a bad place and that you'll get stung if you get off paths. So he is going to make sure people stick to the path and tread in his footprints where he's treading, and he'll do a little bit of bushwhacking, making sure there's no nettles in the way. And basically, it's all about using his wilderness skills and his knowledge of survival and his local knowledge. So it's going to be a survival role.
Okay, go for it.
And I'll stick with one success.
Okie doke. That brings us to Jelsa.
Well, Jalsa hates goblins, but Jalsa knows goblins, and she knows that they've got some path through here somewhere that's safe, that it's their bolt hole.
Mhm.
Would that require a notice to see if I can find it or spot it?
Yeah, go for it. That sounds like a good thing. You're looking out for pitfalls or pit traps or anything like that. Okay, that's a 5. And that brings us, last but no means least, to Arena.
Forest is where I'm at home, and all of my powers rotate around the natural world. So I'm going to use my magic. I'm going to use protection to protect us from things that might sting us. Shape change to make it easier to get through gaps. I'll be able to use sound and silence to help keep us quiet when we need to sneak. And illusions to hide us if there's something coming to attack. Beast friend if it's something natural, and tangle if it's something that isn't. So
Sounds
all of
very
my
good.
powers can.
I like it. Let's have a spellcasting roll then, please.
I will take one success for now. There are more rounds from which I can improve on later.
Indeed. Well, look at that. You obviously your magic is doing something good because Donjan's got another club.
Yay.
Arena, you have the Joker.
Well, I think that now I've got everybody protected and
This does represent quite a few hours of getting through the woods, so by the end of it, you'll have sort of had enough time to regain your power points, is what I'm thinking, you see.
oh, I thought I had to use up 2d6 power points for the first one.
Oh, yeah. It's no, not. I'll be nice. I'm not gonna because it's not a mass battle or anything like that. So you're okay.
Well, in that case, can I keep with the spellcasting, or do I need to choose a different skill?
I would say you can choose. I'm going to make things interesting and make you guys be a bit more creative and say you can only use each skill twice. So if you've got the Joker bonus, you might want to think about a skill that you know what I mean.
In which case, I'm going to use survival because the woodland's my home. I know how to see the trails.
Sounds good to me. Are you happy with a 6, or do you want to see if you get the?
No, I think I should be able to do better with a +2. So let's give that. Oh come on!
Go on. Oh,
I guess I'm not getting that right. Never mind.
It's obviously not going to happen. Rannick.
Right. Well, I've used my survival skills, and that's got us as far as we've got. But
Yes.
things are getting a little bit rough now, so it's time to get out Dragon Sword and start hacking
Falling
the
over.
path through the woods.
Okay. Here comes the critical fail.
Well, if I critically fail, all that happens is I fall over in some nettles, so that'll be fine.
Indeed.
On your ass.
Oh, he gets a 9. He gets a 9.
Cool. It's not a dragon slayer. It's a snapdragon slayer.
Oh, I like it. Okay, Jelsa.
Well, Jalsa's going to find some places where the nettles seem to be growing up higher, and she's going to stealth along in a belly crawl.
Okay, sounds good to me. Go for it. Oh, we are 7. Are you happy with a 7?
Yep, I'm fine with that.
Okay, that
No,
brings
just
us.
keep there now, Sparkle Tits. I'm chopping nettles there.
that
Well,
brings us-
and that's what
Nettles
Bert's going
down
to do.
here. Pay attention.
And that's what Bert's going to do. Is he's going to use his survival to tell Rannick which plants not to chop, so that we don't end up in trouble.
Oh, that sounds like a good goal. Go for it.
Well, since we got a Benny, let me go ahead and spend a Benny. Jeez. Okay, I guess I get no success this time.
No successes. That's unfortunate. Dondrad.
Don's going to drop a Benny here. You drop it on the dramatic task track or the action card.
You drag it on the action card as if it was, normal initiative, as it were. Okay, that got you away from the complication. So at the very last second, you decide that you don't like the look. You're sort of looking around and thinking, oh, hang on, which way did the rest of the party go? Because you dropped back a bit. And at the very last second, you realise they're down the other path, and you turn around just before you wandered into the pitfall I was about to have to avoid. So, okay.
Right, so because we're on plate mail, what happens if we just charge the bush that Rannick's trying to cut through to leave a dwarf-shaped hole?
Okay, go for it.
Batter it. Plate mail, I mean, there's no something you get scratched.
Well, there you are. You certainly called up there and got yourself...
rock rub.
So basically, Bert's trying to work out which plants not to hack through, and then suddenly you just hear a dwarven battle cry, and Dodger just goes charging straight through the undergrowth, leaving a trail of destruction behind him. So
I need to get a lot of gear. I might flatten
you're
it.
getting a lot of bennies here. I'm not complaining actually, but you're getting a lot of bennies, you jammy so and so's. Okay, so you've been traipsing through the woods for a couple of hours now, and it's the sun's higher in the sky, and you're way past the arrow, and someone's dealing with a reader is going to take the 4 of diamonds. I take it.
Yes.
Okay, so you take the 4 of diamonds to avoid the complication. But we're back to you've long passed Bert's marker arrow, and Rannick. You felt you were making good headway, chopping and everything, but then the dwarf just barreled ahead of you and literally cleared a good long path ahead of you. But he's sort of slowed down now, and now at this point you feel that maybe now's your turn to take charge for a bit and see what can be done.
Right, well. Goblins don't have so much of a written language, do they? Because they don't believe in words, because they steal your brain and stuff, yes?
Yes, indeed. Yes. Goblins don't like words.
They do still use signs and sigils, just not words. Now, Rannick actually knows the goblin language.
Mm-hmm.
And Rannick's going to be looking out for any goblin signs that could lead them to pass the goblins use that could get them through the nettlewood quicker, or possibly, depending on what the signs say, tell them where to avoid so they don't.
Sounds reasonable. I like it.
Goblin interference.
Mm-hmm. 7. Are you happy with 7?
I'm gonna. As I've got the Joker, I'm going to spend a penny on that.
Okay.
If it does better than Hey.
Oh
13.
Yes, 3 successes.
Yeah. It is indeed. Do you know what? There doesn't actually say there's a limit on successes on this one, so yeah, you're up to 1. Yeah, you've got 6 successes, so you're fine. Unless you get a complication.
We can use the same skill up to twice, right?
Yeah, the logic was what I should have said was not the same skill twice in a row, but because that would have been the same difference. But I said you can use the same skill twice, so that's what I'm going to stick with. I just think it's more interesting to make you
not twice at all, or
no, you could use the same skill twice. Yeah.
Okay, well, she's still determined. She knows goblins. Somewhere they've got themselves a safe path here.
Mm-hmm.
And they've probably got it hard to spot because, but they're little slobs like that.
Mm-hmm. Well, Rannick seems to be reading signs and thinking he's doing well, and you seem to be, you're just looking around here, there, and you're doing fine as well. Yep, that's absolutely fine. That brings us to Bert.
That's a rabbit hole. This one says safe path in Goblin. That, I know you're small and you can get in it, but that's a rabbit hole. There's no way I'm bloody fitting in there.
Well, we are coming up to some pretty nasty nettles and what have you. So Bert is going to use his bark skin
Okay.
to give everybody a little bit of extra toughness.
I like
that
it.
They don't
Yep.
take much damage.
Sounds good to me. Okay, that's no problem. You successfully protect everyone from the more the sharper elements of the nettlewood, and as I say, I'm not worrying too much about making you spend power points on this one because it doesn't actually say. It's not like a mass battle where it's 2d6 power points. And I'm thinking if I'm making each task an hour, you've got enough time to get your power points back because I'm nice. So, Arena, you basically were thinking. You thought you saw a really likely looking path, and were just about to get everyone to head down it, and you suddenly realised that just ahead of you was a whole patch of strangler vines and poison moss. And at the very last second, because you spent the penny and avoided the complication, you decided that actually maybe a different route is in order. So what are you going to do?
I think I'm going to use little shape change to get an aerial view of the situation and see if I can see a better path for us.
I like it. Indeed, look at that.
Hey guys, look that way. That seems good.
It certainly does. Okay.
No pressure now, Dondrad, but if it gets one success, we've completed task.
Yeah, 4 tasks per hero. So yeah, as I say, I think you've actually done enough already, to be honest. 6, 9.
Well, listen, if you get wee
12,
scratches or stuff going through the bushes, it probably
17.
won't hurt, but
Yep,
just
you've done
make
it.
sure
19.
you wrap them up, otherwise you'll end up in about half an hour
We need
stinging
20.
like buggery. So you've got to cover up
Oh,
all your
there
wee
it is.
scratches and make sure your skin's covered.
There we go. So the final tally is Dondrad has 6 successes. Arena has 5 successes. But you only got as far as doing 3. But as I say, it's an interesting interpretation. I'm not sure you're supposed to get 4 each, but with some of you getting that many, I'm quite happy to say you successfully navigate the Nettlewood. It takes you 3 hours to get through the Nettlewood, but it's all looking good, and you find yourself. Well, that's a good question. Where do you find yourself? Let's find out. So the briars and thistles that grow so rampantly in the Nettlewood are even more dense and tangled here close to the shore, although not quite dense enough to block the sound of waves crashing on the unseen beaches to the west. The undergrowth is certainly thick enough to block sight and access to the coast. Few trees grow this close to the edge of the sea, but the briars often reach heights to rival them. Here, the patch is nearly 20 feet high. So there we go. So I'm intrigued. Yeah. So, and I shall put everybody. I shall, of course, clear your cards, and then all I have to do is pop you guys on the map, and then I can share the map. So if I zoom in, then there's a sync view still, isn't there? But yeah, sync plant view, and then share. I think that means it zooms it about rather than all the way zoomed out. I don't know if that worked or you just ended up, or if I have to do it this way around. But anyway.
It's all the way.
Yeah, I see it as all grey, so there's no lighting. Oh, there we go.
There we go. It's gone green.
Light's gone.
Yeah.
The sun came out.
Must have had lighting turned on by default. I'll have to have a look at that. But anyway, I'm going to turn off the player view. I just wanted to, because being able to see what you see is very useful when things like that. So, as I say, you come out to you basically work you out into this clearing. Sorry?
May I ask a couple of questions?
You may. You just did.
Does this count as a forest?
Interesting. Probably not.
Okay,
It's all,
so
it's,
I don't
it's
think
all
I'll
thistles. It's all thistles, basically. Because it's
those of
Thistletop.
us that have wilderness stride, so myself and Bert and Arena, who's got it from her Fey background, are we able to move through the terrain here any easier than anyone else?
Well, that is an interesting question, isn't it? Because I did wonder about this, because I must admit, I seem to recall somewhere further down it does mention that. Let's have a look. So the walls in front of you here are the thorns comprising the walls are quite damp, moistened by fog every morning and evening, and so they're okay. When the adventurers search of there's cliffs and some feet high, having constructed mountains. These sorts of doors. I don't know is the honest answer. It's an unless the magical nature. That's a disturbing sound, isn't it? Okay. I think you do hear that for the sake of argument. You can hear the sea and everything else. That's an interesting question. Let's have a look at. I know I remember reading about it earlier, so it's bugging me. Sorry about this. Because this is one of those interesting ones. Because I seem to recall the reason you say that. Because I seem to think it's like, oh, it's a shame they're all walls because you can't just walk through. Players can't walk through walls, but when in theory, characters possibly can. Let's have a look.
Right. Okay.
Because I remember that's why I sort of makes me think I do recall reading something about it. So I'm just gonna what's it called? Wilderness.
Wilderness Walk or Wilderness Stride? Let me look on the tab on my character sheet. Wilderness Stride.
That's
what
it.
It's called for the range.
Oh, here it is. It's on the next entry. A character of size 1 or less with the Wilderness Stride ability can move without penalty. I don't think he can, is the honest answer. Then, because... hang on, yes. Well, there's an interest... Yes. This is where it gets interesting. Way, 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 way down here, in a little throwaway section, it does say... He uses Wilderness Stride to step in and out of the thorny walls, so they can't follow him. And it's like, well, surely then you can. So let's have a look at Wilderness Stride. What's its actual definition? Wilderness Stride, new feat. Oh, your characters were all created before I redid everything, weren't they? One day I'll have to update all your characters. Oh, because it's no longer an edge anymore, because it's part of the ranger abilities now.
Yeah. And period abilities.
Yep. Wilderness Stride. Here we go. Rangers pass through terrain as dense forests, rocky hills, and desert sands with ease. They ignore movement penalties for difficult ground. See, that I find is interesting. Doesn't say.
And walls are not difficult terrain. Walls are just too overgrown to be able to walk through at all. Yeah,
I'm going to say no. You can't. Even though someone else possibly can, I'm going to say you guys can't because it doesn't say you can. It does mean having the Wilderness Stride is an advantage in other ways, but you can't walk through the walls. So anyway, can I have notice checks, please? Cavity constructed rigid
There's green things.
Okay, so Bert, Dondrad, I'm not entirely sure how Dondrad does it, but Rannick and Jelsa, what you all realise is that just ahead of you here is a cleverly constructed rigid mat of thistles and nettles that appear to be concealing an entrance. You realise that a 4-foot high, notice how is enough to see you can lift the briars aside to reveal a 4-foot high tunnel behind it.
You see that? It's that's a false door because it's got.
Mm.
You never get a straight
I
line in
also
nature.
noticed the description said that it's nice and moist, so we can't just burn it out.
Yes.
And I use entangle to push it away by making it entangle the things to the sides.
I quite like that. Yes, I mean, at the end of the day, you can literally just lift it up, of course. But yeah, I don't see why not.
Just wear gloves.
Yeah, just wear gloves.
Irina, could I turn into a bird and then like flop up there and have a look down and see where we've got to go to?
Alas, no. I must admit, I will tell. I will tell you. I mean, Irina may well have known. Rather than spending PowerPoints, I'll say because Irina got a really good roll earlier, didn't she? When you shape changed earlier on and flew up, didn't you? What you saw this area when you were flying from above, and they are literally tunnels. It's like this whole thing is just a huge mass of fawns and everything. So it's basically they are literally grown over tunnels. So as from the sky, you couldn't see the layout or anything. Because that would be too.
There you go. That's the answer
All
to
right,
that
then.
question. But I will use entangle to get to the overgrown stuff to get out of our way in a cooperative kind of way.
Basically, it takes an athletics roll to avoid being scratched, or just wearing gauntlets to lift them out of the way. But Arita, if you want to use your entangle, can you do cantrips? Yeah, you're a sorcerer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to say you basically use a cantrip version of your entangle to sort of move the forms out of the way and eventually reveal a way through. So as you move it aside, Thorford High Tunnel winds through the dense briars and nettles. The floor is packed hard earth with patches of wiry plants growing stubbornly here and there.
That's what Jelson knew it, sneaky ass goblins anyway.
Yep. What was I trying? Oh, that's what I was trying to do. I wanted to go into here and take the grid down because you don't actually need to see the grid. You just need it there. Well, you still got seagulls, aren't they?
Vegan bicarb soda.
So, okay, the ceilings and the walls of the tunnel. Yeah, so the ceilings and the walls of the tunnel consist of. Okay, so here we go. Creatures larger than size 1, which none of you are, will find it nearly impossible to navigate these tunnels. Size 1 and size 0 creatures can wiggle through by stooping over and hunkering down, effectively squeezing to move. They treat the areas difficult to terrain and subtract 1 from their parry and any rolls that require the use of their arms or bodies. Size -1 and smaller creatures can move about normally, as can most quadrupedal size 0 creatures. Larger chambers within have higher ceilings where the penalties don't apply to size 0 creatures.
And Tulsa can just skip around here like she's at home.
Yeah. So though the ceilings and walls of the tunnels consist of tangled, thorny vines, a character who brushes against them need not worry too much about damage. However, you suspect pushing into them might hurt. Creatures of size 1 or less with wilderness stride ability can move through the tunnels without penalty. They can even pass through the tangled briars with ease, effectively walking through the walls of this area. So there you are. It does tell you can.
So that's Arena, Bert, and Rannick can actually walk through walls effectively.
Effectively, yeah, apparently so.
Cool.
I knew I read it somewhere, but I couldn't find it when I was looking for it earlier. Typical way. I just noticed Arena wants to be a bat.
Which also means Arena, Bert, and Rannick don't have to move at half pace, where Dondrad does to see size 0, isn't he? But Jelsa's size -1.
Mm. Ironically, it's probably a good thing the good fella isn't here, ironically.
He's the only one that has problems fitting.
Indeed. That strange bat noise, in fact, is coming from that direction.
I'll just take down this one. See about what's down here.
I'm not getting anything on my line of sight. I'm still seeing nothing before.
Still seeing what? Sorry.
I can see it now.
Where are we going?
It looks like everyone's decided to split up.
Well, I can't go down one passageway and then turn around and come back, can I?
What they're doing, but we heard a sound and it was coming from this way, so Jelson's following the noise.
I mean, what?
Okay. Okay, right. Let's just see what's going on here. So,
are we moving this if it's difficult terrain, are we?
Well, you will be difficult terrain if you're size 1 and don't have wooden stride ability in combat and everything else, yes. So, okay, let's see what we can see, because everything's getting interesting. So, that's not...
Don't like this.
I want to have a check with that, because... Okay, so basically speaking, where else? Oh, I've got a missing pin. That explains everything.
I saw some more of their ones over that way, Sparkle Tits. And another one there. Looks like that might be a way through. What does the reckon?
I've lost my notebook, I reckon. There we go. Right, here we go. So, note today, first bug fix of the day, which is annoying because I think this is going on sale tomorrow. I got a download of it today, so it's this is definitely imminent. Means I need to get the others finished. C3 missing from map. Okay, so C3 is the Howling Hole. And there it is. It's howling again right now. So I'm going to not accept anyone's moves just yet. So 3 thistle tunnels open to this is for Bert. Open into a large. It's stuck on a wall. There we go. Into a large cave-like chamber. Above, the thorny canopy grows thin enough that tiny slivers of the sky can be seen through it. While below, the ground consists of trampled dirt. To the west, the distant sound of sloshing waves echoes up from a hole. Okay, and over to okay, so that's fine. That's absolutely fine. And the other one I wanted to check was over here. From Jelsa's perspective, you could see Jelsa can see over there. A 30-foot diameter, low-ceiling chamber stinks of smoke. A shallow fire pit smoulders in the centre of the floor, while 9 tangled reed and leaf nests line the walls. Well, you won't see 9 from where you are, but you'll see you can see some tangled reef nest there. Okay, and Dodred, you're still stomping through at the back.
I'm going as fast as I bloody well can. That's what I'm telling you.
And Amber's decided to stay outside by the look of things. She's probably quite sensible. Okay. What's everyone want to do?
You said the nests are this way?
I did indeed.
Well, Joseph wants to... Why isn't this opening up line of sight for me? It doesn't open up line of sight for me until Rannick moves.
I have no idea.
I've got night vision and you haven't? I don't know.
I've got low night.
I'm not able to click on her as an ally for some reason.
Ah, okay. There we go. Is that working now?
Yeah, that should work.
Yeah, now I fixed it.
It looks like for somehow your token wasn't somehow lost the link back to the combat tracker. Okay, so I don't think lighting matters, but let's make it dusk anyway, just in case. At least that way you guys will get. Do you know what I mean? If there is lighting issues, now having the whole map covered in an ambient light means you shouldn't need light. Okay, so okay, as you get to there, Right. So, Jelsa, as you start moving towards that area there, what you realise is you can see these reed and leaf nests lining the walls. As you get a bit closer, you start hearing muttering, and by the time you and sort of all sorts of noises and arguments coming on, and then sort of sounds of organisation along some lines. And as you sort of turn the corner into the open, you basically find yourself staring at a load of goblins. They don't look that well off. They look dishevelled. They look a bit beaten up. They look half starved, and they basically are mostly sort of huddled together. However, the second you appear around the corner, and one of them notices, they start a frenzy of shrieks and fury, and basically start charging towards you.
Bugger, that's all we need.
I think I found some goblins. I knew they were here somewhere.
Okay, Dondrad, you can hear goblins shouting somewhere up ahead. Unfortunately, now difficult terrain will apply to you.
Well, I'm going to have to run, otherwise I'm not going to be able to move at all.
So it gets you 4 inches.
Gets me 4 inches. Yeah, so anyway, I don't like it. Right, well, I can hear them, but I can't see them.
You certainly can hear them, but you can't see them. Rannick!
Do any of them look kind of... Well, yeah, that one at the front there that says they're a wildcard probably looks a little bit more in charge than anybody else, so I'm going to target him with my first action as I charge in.
Mm-hmm.
Don't trip, stumblefoot. I'll be all over you.
The first thing I'm going to do is yell at him, or yell in Goblin, which I'll type out in just a moment. So it's more of an intimidate at him as a battle cry, because I can only intimidate one person, so I'm not got rabble around.
That's interesting. It didn't tell me. It didn't tell me what it was.
Didn't it?
Oh, that's interesting.
Well, it was.
Oh well, I'll never know what it said. How frustrating is that? It's very strange.
Translates. The rest of you'll get this too if you don't drop the weapons.
Okay.
And this is where I then dismally fail the intimidation roll. There we go. I'll re-roll that.
At least you didn't critically fail.
You had to say it, didn't you?
Did you really?
Yeah, jinxed him.
Sorry, I wasn't looking. I just realised I forgot to check that was in 1080p. Well, what you actually said is, what you tried to imply. Unfortunately, you get the dialect slightly wrong with this particular tribe. And what you actually said was, watch how this goblin carves me up, rather than watch how I carve up this goblin.
Fair enough. Well, hang on, I was doing 2 actions. There was a multi-action penalty on there.
Okay, sorry, go for it. So what I'm actually going to say is I'm going to let's see. You were trying to intimidate them. I'm going to be evil. I think. I'll have a think while you do your next action.
You're going to lose my next action, are you?
No. I said while you do your next action, because all you were doing there was trying to talk, but you got tongue-tied, didn't you?
I did a bit.
A critical failure means the target is immune to your character. Basically, all of these. He's immune to any further attempts to intimidate him through the rest of this fight. Apparently, on a critical fail. I knew it was programmed in there somewhere. Okay, the Goblin Wildcard parries masterfully your attack, snarls in anticipation, and advances toward. Basically, swings back with his dog slicer. But unfortunately, oh wow, that's a nice shield. You parry it beautifully with your shield, Jelsa.
Yeah, and she's Stumblefoot, I can't believe you're still trying to talk to goblins.
Well, I got the dark. I don't know why it's not letting me. I like the fact I can't read what the GM's what you're saying. That's quite annoying. I have to look into that. I think that's a bug.
You should be able to. If that was Daft Bug, you meant to use pointy end. Why am I giving goblins instructions?
Okay. Oh gosh. This could be a very
Oh no,
short fight.
I'm gonna Benny that one time, see if I can get a raise. So I got tons of Bennies.
Yeah, the effects of being turned into the balls of thorns.
I'm just throwing them around because it entertains me. Because they're freaking goblins. Oh, flying goblins now!
Okay, so anyone touched by the template is distracted, then must make a strength roll. Okay, this might take a while.
And isn't the wolf sharp?
Yes.
You say they might fly up and knock them back down, they might get stuck.
Love this spell. And they got glitter all over them now, too. Because it's a glitter whirlwind.
Goblins.
Out of interest, how many power points does that cost you?
It only cost me 4. 1 for selected so I didn't hit you. One for the larger area of effect. And then 2 for the spell itself.
I was just checking you done selected, but without saying you did do selected, didn't you?
Don't worry, I'm,
we got a 4 in there.
Stumblefoot. I could have pushed you right into him, Stumblefoot, because, well, then I could laugh when you fell again.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And there should be 8. So the last goblin is safe. So all the others are going to get blown backwards. And they get blown 2d6 inches.
Took him to the medals! Took him to the medals!
Go on then, roll your 2d6. Ouch. Okay, that means everyone's going flying. Right. I think I might turn this into a... Oh, it's already there. I had it set up from before. Okay, so the Goblin Wildcard I will worry about in a minute. Because he's going... I'll work him out afterwards. All the other goblins aren't basically... he's saved, so he's not affected. All the other goblins will get pushed into the thorns. That goblin's obviously impaled on a incredibly. That goblin just gets in. Oh gosh. Okay, well that last goblin got impaled on a 2-foot thorn. The next goblin got basically throat turned around and basically ended up inserting both eye sockets and his brain pan into a whole mass of thorns. The next goblin got away without any effects at all. And okay, the last goblin is shaken. That brings us to... That's interesting. Okay. The two... They are. Hang on. I forgot to do a roll for one of the goblins. Okay, he fails. He will take 3 points of damage. And then last but no means least is the last one. 11 inches isn't going to make any real difference. So they're all basically... The point that they're all literally pushed to the edges. He is going to get flung... Well, actually, he's going to get flung into you, Rannick.
Okay.
Because that's the centre of the template there. He's going to come straight into you, isn't he?
The ones
Does Rannick count as a solid object?
Make a strength check, Rannick.
He's over 6 foot tall. And now we got, look at the ones stuck in there like on skewers or like goblin kebabs.
Yep, basically I'm going to say he bashes into you. You're not going to cause him any real inconvenience other than the fact he bashes into you, but you made your strength check so you don't lose your balance. He's been blown into you distracted. So, okay, let's see what happens. That goblin dies. That goblin's shaken. That goblin's shaken. That goblin dies. That goblin very much incapacitated. That goblin's shaken. And that goblin's unharmed. So that's the net effect of all of that. All good stuff. And that brings us to Arena.
Arena is flying.
That's enough of that one, isn't it? It's fun for a while, but I find it annoying after a while.
Flying there.
Okie dokie.
She is going to turn back to herself, and if you will allow it, cast a spell.
No, I don't. I think it's a free action to end the negate a power, so I don't see why not.
In which case, I would like to cast,
Or even a limited action, which doesn't make much sense.
with the additional damage. So all of those thorns she just put them on are going to sprout extra thorny branches and come out of their chest somewhat like the alien creatures in the Alien movies and wrap around them from inside their own bodies and rip them to shreds.
How tasteful. Go for it.
I've got this thing, I've started to hate goblins.
Fair enough. So you are spellcasting Entangle with a large burst template. Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
You don't even need to worry about selective.
I don't know.
Okay, so that is Entangle. So basically you didn't get the raise, which means they're all entangled.
Yes, but I did pay the extra for the damage.
You did indeed. So they're not bound. They're not bound. Did you pay extra for the... I know it's a bit after the effect, but did you... Oh, hang on. I noticed I forgot to update the module. I made some changes today because I noticed some of the spell effects were wrong. There's an awful lot of updates coming out next week. There's an awful lot of updates coming out for the core rules. A load came out today and a load more I've fixed. So there's lots of lovely bug fixes and typos and all sorts. And I found some more today doing Arcane. I've noticed some more of the powers are actually slightly wrong because what we found is they didn't actually update correctly all the changes in the last update.
Would that have affected this spell?
That's what I'm checking. Entangle, area of effect 2/3 damage, toughness +1. So yes, there is a +1 toughness to take the hardness up to 10. So it's going to be entangle toughness 8 because you said you were doing the damage rather than the extra toughness, didn't you? Okay,
right.
So you are doing it. You're doing damage. So it's 2d4 damage at the end of their turn. I need to turn that. Actually, that's what I should do. I should put that into it as an effect to keep track of it, shouldn't I? Entangle needs damage effect. Would be
And
nice.
probably deadly effect as well then, because the higher level one does 2d6.
Yeah.
Yes.
Once you get divine or arcane mastery. Right. So, okay, so they're all actually, yeah, I'm just gonna have to keep a note. Okay, so goblin number 2 is distracted by the havoc, is entangled, will attempt to escape from the entanglement, fail miserably, and take 2d4 damage from the entanglement.
Ooh.
And probably burst. Goblin number 3 is no longer shaken. Will attempt to break free from the entanglement and fail. And then.
Torn it up.
Yep. Goblin number 4 remains shaken. Poor sod. He can't do anything except take damage. Which he basically he's shaken again by the vines, which of course means he doesn't make it. Okay, this goblin here is going to attempt to break free and fail miserably. I tell you what, that is horrible. You get them hit by a havoc and then you entangle them with damage and they're just stuffed. Okay. Interesting.
Appreciating the effect.
They're goblins. They deserve nothing else.
Here's an interesting question. Does the damage apply every turn or just for one turn? Doesn't say.
I believe it's until they're no longer entangled.
That's really horrible. I mean, makes sense, don't get me wrong, but that's very horrible.
Yeah, it depends whether it's an instant power, in which case it isn't. Not in this case.
But entangle
It's got
isn't,
a
is it?
duration.
That's a good point. Because
It's instant, but it does say
it is
the
instant, so
end
the damage only lasts one. I think the damage modifier only lasts the one turn, does it? But I'm not sure. We'll have to check. I'll have another read of that another day.
The modifier says entangled targets take 2d4 damage at the end of their turn. So that would suggest it's until they are no longer.
I would agree with that's why I was going to say. That's horrible. He rolls a 7 and he still doesn't break free because he's distracted and entangled. And basically,
Because Irina and I look sweet as hell, but we're mean. They're goblins.
Okay, so basically, as you can tell, that just
Pretty much ended the fight over there. Yeah.
that pretty much ended the fun of it. But you're by the cave, aren't you?
I am by the cave.
Ooh, you get ominous music.
I'm going to lay down on my belly and look down the hole and see what I can see.
It's a brass band.
Okay, it's about a 75 foot. It's about a 75-foot shaft down. You reckon? And it looks like it opens. Basically, it looks like that this is the top of a sea cave. So yeah, basically,
Okay.
So yeah, it says it's an athletics climbing roll to navigate the 75-foot shaft, which opens into a sea cave. And you can obviously it says you can hear sounds of waves sloshing up through the hull. Well, back on again now. Won't worry too much about the fight because it's almost over. So yeah, so as you look down there, you can literally see it's quite a long way down.
Okay. I will get up and come over here to Snookums then and say, what'd you find over here, baby?
Okay.
And then Snookums will go ahead and walk forward a little bit. So we
Okay.
can see anything else of any interest.
Okay, so Schnookums, the floor and walls of this musty-smelling chamber are covered with matted, wiry fur. Well-gnawed bones lie scattered about the floor, and a dozen wooden stakes have been driven into the ground near the walls. And things get interesting. Did they add in? Yes, they did. And Schnookums has found 6 goblin dogs.
Goblin
Oh,
dogs.
these are lots of fun. Yeah, goblin dogs. These are fun.
Okay.
Snookum hates dogs.
I hate goblins.
I'm going to
Oh.
say because I don't really want to deal them in and end up halfway up the combat tracker. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a group roll. I'm going to do an athletics roll with the dogs to see if they get to basically react before Schnookums does. Oh dear. Oh, you might be in luck there. You might be in luck. My dice fell off the chat. Oh, there they come back. Okay, so what I'm going to say is I'm not going to do all of the Goblin Dogs. I'm just going to have Goblin Dog 4 and Goblin Dog 2 as the two nearest ones get to react before Schnookums does, and then the rest will be, you know what I mean? Because I don't want to. Me 1, 2, 3, 4. So we'll break him out. We'll break out Goblin Dog 2, and they will just basically. See, I can probably be clever if I go into the combat deck and give them the 4 of spades, like so. That way, I can move them now, and it won't be a problem later. So this Goblin Dog comes over and basically attempts to bite at Schnookums. 4 probably doesn't do it. Nope.
No, parry 5.
And the other Goblin Dog's going to come over and have a bite at Schnookums as well. Missing, and that brings us over to Schnookums.
Okay, Schnookums is going to frenzy attack him.
Go for it. Schnookums should have 3 bennies as well, because Schnookums should have got her benny back. They have got, what is
I
their
forgot
parry?
to target him. My bad.
They've got parry 5, so you hit one of them.
Okay.
We'll say you hit that one. Doing 5 points of damage, you shake it. Well, Schnookums shakes one of the Goblin Dogs. It's a sprawling mass of fur and chaos. And that brings us, I'm going to have to turn this on, I think. Yep, that brings us back over here. So a goblin who is impaled and entangled and is probably about to go pop. No, just shake him. And that brings us back to the rest of the Goblin Dogs. And only one more, fortunately, can actually get through. I'm going to put him with these next round. The others are just going to have to go on hold because they can't do anything about getting any closer. So we'll put them on hold. And this Goblin Dog bites Schnookums. Missing. And I believe that brings us to the end of the round. So we'll start again with Bert getting a Joker.
Okay, Bert is going to see that poor Schnookums is being jumped.
Mm-hmm.
We'll step in here a little ways, and it's time for him to do some, okay, Vines, you grow too.
Do I want? Yes.
Of course, we're going to add the damage, because, I mean, that's what this is all about. So that's 4. And we're going to make them tough, so that's 5. So yeah, let's do that. And I'm area of effect. 7 for area of effect.
I know you're not first level characters anymore, but you think indeed in Pathfinder it was like, cast magic missile. Right, see you in 8 hours. I know Pathfinder's not that bad, but first edition AD&D was like that. Yep, go for it.
Success with a raise. Does the raise do? Oh yeah, the raise makes him bound, not just entangled. So.
It does indeed. And you did it with toughness 10, didn't you?
I did, yes. Do that. And don't see the damage effect on here anywhere.
No. As I say, I need to add it in.
Since everybody seems to put it on there, yeah.
I'm going to... Right, so what I'm going to have to do is, I'm going to say, because you've entangled them, I'm just going to deal them a card. Because obviously, if they're on hold, then you get an interesting situation. If you only take damage at the end of your turn, you keep them, you stay on hold, don't you?
You just stay on hold forever, yeah.
Yeah. Which is an interesting metagamer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to deal them in, so they have to act. Okay, that brings us to Snookums.
Who is going to once again wild attack?
Wild attack or frenzy?
Wild attack. No, frenzy attack. Frenzy attack.
I was going to say.
Well, we got a couple hits out of that, didn't we? Yeah, we'll go ahead and take the 2 hits.
Hang on. You didn't entangle those ones though.
No, I shouldn't have entangled those. Okay. I'm not sure what happened there. 4 got entangled.
4 shouldn't be entangled. I'm not sure why 4 got entangled. Did you?
I may have accidentally had him selected.
You might have done, yeah. That's okay. He's not entangled now, so that wouldn't be a hit. And Goblin Dog
That'd
number
be
2.
a hit and a miss, yeah. You know what? Snookums is going to go ahead and spend a penny to re-roll that once.
Okie dokie.
Ah, that's better.
Go for it. Roll the damage.
Number 4.
That's number 4 was already shaken, so that's the end of number 4.
And number 2.
You might have... Yeah, I'll just apply the damage manually because it didn't.
Not having. Okay.
And down he goes. Snookums dispatches 2 goblin dogs, which brings us to Dondrad. Okay, Dondrad, now there's combat in more than one place. Oh, and also you can still hear other noises as well.
I'm fighting a bigger monster. Bloody bushes.
Do you want to Benny that?
Was that
No,
a
I don't.
war horn?
It was a 1. Okay, Goblin Dog is going to bite Snookums. Well, that's the end of Goblin Dog. That brings us to Goblin Wildcard, who is poor sod, he's remaining shaken. Oh dear. But he doesn't get to do a lot. In fact, the physical battle music doesn't make any sense when all they're doing is just getting shredded. He's shaken. That brings us to... Oh god, that's the wild card as well.
It must be breakfast time. That's all the Freddy's.
Haha! Jelsa Sparkle!
What's this right here in front of Jelsa? Is this a barrier?
Well, yes, indeed. It appears to be. It seems to be a thistle door. Yeah.
Ooh, is there a way I can open it?
Yeah. Are you?
I already had my bunch of goblins and stuff, and I'm sure Bert and Snookums can handle themselves. So.
Just be an athletics check to lift it out of the way. And I just need to check back something down here. Oh, no, hang on. Hidden entrance. Athletics roll to avoid being scratched and jabbed by the thorns and taking fatigue from bumps and bruises. But okay, no problem at all. You basically lift the door out of the way and find yourself basically looking out to... Well, actual fact, from where you are there, what you can see is you're standing near a cliff top. You can see the bay, and you can see Thistletop straight ahead of you.
Ooh. Hey guys, I think I found the way through.
Although you can't see much of it because, of course, because of all the wood that I personally think that.
I had 2 move left. I only moved 3 to get to the door.
Yeah, Be very careful. That
step-
puts you on the very top of the cliff. But yeah, there you go. Right.
Hey, I think I found the way through. And that's it for me.
Okay, I need to deal with some stuff. So, yeah. And, yeah. Okay. So let me turn off player view. That brings us to arena.
I am going to stroll forward to here. And I am going to stab each one in the guts once.
Okie dokie. There you go. They are targeted.
Thank you. I forgot to hit the multi-action. So
Alright.
it's missed anyway.
Well, you missed
I'll
one
hit
of
the
them.
second.
You missed one of them, and then you hit. Then the second one.
Oh, the second one I've hit.
Okay, so what I will do is, do you want to? Okay, I'm going to say that you're right-handed, so you probably did the right-hand one first, which missed, and then carried on and hit, and then stabbed the second one. So you miss the goblin, but you hit the goblin wild card with an 11 because you forgot the multi-action penalty. Off you go. Roll the damage.
I'll put it off the second one.
Oh,
The
you
one
did.
that
So it
differed.
was 13. Not that it matters, but anyway, yeah, you hit him for 13. So roll the damage as you skewer the entangled goblin. Are you happy with 3 wounds?
Yeah, I guess it'll do.
Entangling doesn't affect the soak roll. So that, because it's about toughness rather than actual things, that's actually a 4. Which basically means he takes 2 wounds and therefore isn't incapacitated. Goblin number 7 takes 6 points of damage from being entangled. Hang on. No, goblin number 7 remains shaken and basically just spontaneously dies anyway. The goblin wildcard is entangled. He's distracted. He can still attack you, so he is basically very angry. What can he do? What's he got? But I didn't need to do that. He's got nothing. A formation fighter, but you killed them all before they could use it. So basically, he wildly hacks and slashes at you, getting nowhere, Rannick. And then basically the vines constrict upon him, but he toughly, grimly holds on. And that brings us to you, Mr. Rannick, sir.
Right, sparkle tips. So, that thing you do where you stab them in the dunglies. You wait till they're like bothered by something, like being, I don't know, bound up by vines.
Hey, Stumblefoot, go ahead and just stick him any way you can, because I found the way through. And I'm going to
No,
check
but
out.
that thing where they're looking the wrong way and that, and you stab them in the dunglies. Does it really matter which bit of dungly you stab them in?
That doesn't matter at all. And I found a path. I'm going to be following the path. So hurry up.
All right, I'll just stab him in dunglies then. That'll be fine. And Rannick, after that discussion, is going to not be bothered by defence, because why when the goblin's all tied up and not being effective? And is going to wild attack this guy in the dunglies.
Okay,
Make
you're
the
going
2 vegetables.
Because, he's trying to learn the roguish way of stabbing people in bits where it hurts more.
Congratulations, you learned.
He didn't bother targeting him, but he weren't.
Okay, there we go.
Well, you hit, but you didn't get the raise.
I didn't. Never mind.
But you shook him.
I'm going to Benny that damage, because
Well, target him before you bend it.
too late. Hey, that worked really good, that did.
It did. Okay, goblin dogs. The goblin dogs are entangled, so they're going to have to make athletics rolls to escape and fail and therefore take damage. Shaking the first one. Athletics. Having no effect. Oh, having no effect on the second one. Athletics. Having no effect on the third one. There we go. Right, let's have a look. It's not my day, is it? Not my day at all. That's a bit better. Okay.
Oh,
So,
that one's got a name. They must be bad.
okay, so he got the raise, so that means it gets that. Oh, oh no, good, it's there. Why is it not showing up on here? Oh, because I'm looking at the wrong one, that's why. That gets him down 2. Okay, let me see now. We're going to have... we're going to give him that as well, which basically means it cost him 2 power points. 3 power points. Okay, which means he can then move. Oh, yeah. Okay, and then what's this? What's up here? This one. Okay, next round. Looks like Ranik is going first.
Ranik is going to attempt to stab this guy in the donglies again. And this time, if he hits, he's going to add the +4 damage that he forgot to add last time. And I'll even target him and everything.
Fair enough. Fair enough indeed.
Not like you to forget stuff like
I mean, how hard is it to kill something that's all tied up, Brannick?
Look, I'm trying to hit him in the weak spots like what you do. It takes time to work out where to aim. Will you?
Well, when they're all tied up, just chop off his head.
Here. Right, that's better.
Okay, and that was on the Goblin Wild
The bugger's
Card.
jiggling too much.
I don't think he wants you to get him.
Okay, that's that. Okay,
You can hold him.
he snarls in anger. He snarls in anger at you as you stab him again.
That's better. I think he got his kidney that time.
Are you doing anything else?
That's it.
Yeah. See, this is where if you have first strike, you can be really evil because basically you walk up, stab him, and walk away. If he actually breaks free of the vines and comes up to you, you get to hit him again. Okay, dogs. The other goblin slashes at Arena with the dog slicer. Missing. And that's the last thing. Oh, hang on. I'm taking that back. This one's still got bennies. I didn't realise. I'll spend one of my bennies to try and soak that damage. Yeah. Okay, that brings us over here. So, that gets me to there, which will probably fail because I can't walk through walls. Can I have a notice check? Donjad, please. Are you happy with a 3?
I've got pennies to spare, I suppose. Got pennies to spare.
Are you happy with a 5?
I'm happy with a 5. Oh, yes, I'm happy with a 5.
Okie dokie. I'm afraid you do not hear.
I've got my
You do not hear the goblin silently and effortlessly striding out behind you through the wall of thorns. So I think first thing I might do then is
I'm
yeah,
hot and bothered that it's a full-faced elm.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Right, so first thing that happened, the first thing you realise is that basically you suddenly find yourself completely bound and unable to move. As the thorns just literally wrap themselves all around you.
Oh.
Okay, so that's going to be 2 power points, 4 power points. And I forgot to add in the fatigue damage effect, so you're okay. It's only going to cost me 4 power points to do damaging bindings on you. Then then basically once you're bound up like a kipper, he feels the goblin is as brave as anything and stands away off from you. Stabs you with his spear. Leaving you... Well, fortunately, your armour protecting you. Dondrad, you are bound.
I'm going to try and break the castle.
Okay, go for it.
What's that, athletics?
It's athletics or strength at -2.
Yeah. Strength at +2, did you say?
-2.
-2, right.
Which is actually where that edge that lets you treat athletics as a strength still becomes really nice, because then technically means you're doing it without...
He gets a 3. I think it's worth a penny roll to that. Off chance. Still gets a 3. Heavens to Betsy.
Okay, the fawns.
God.
Okay.
One more, 4.
Yeah, but you've got the -2. So it's 2.
Is that not 8 -2? Oh, right. I tell like 4.
Yeah.
Dangle -2.
Yeah. So I'm afraid then the fawns constrict you, shaking you.
Okay.
Sorry about that. And then what we have is... This is why this is scary. You know, I must admit, some of these later fights you really don't want to split up. Not yet, but some of the later stuff is horrifying. We'll see. I'm going to turn that on. I'm going to turn that on. I'm going to pounce. I'm going to pout a far pelt. A far. What is it? A far pelt. Actually, I've got an image for it. Actually, far pelt cougar pounces on Snookums.
Wow.
So that would be a wild attack.
Evil Mirror Universe Twin. It's got a goat. No, it hasn't.
With a pounce bonus and combat. So it's on Snookums. Hitting, I'm afraid that gets to hit Snookums. Ouch. Oof, that was nearly incredibly large amounts of damage. Snookums has taken 16 points of damage, which is 2 wounds, I assume. You want to...
I'm going to spend a penny on.
I'll take your 7 because I'm nice. which means I'm afraid Schnookums is still injured, but he does soak one of the wounds. Then basically this cat literally jumps off Schnookums and sort of heads back down into the foliage. Literally pounced on Schnookums, slashes away, and then pounces off and moves on. Goblin dog number 3 is able to unshake. I think it's going to try and chew its way through these vines and fail. And die an unpleasant death. Goblin dog number 5 will attempt to break free and fail miserably. And nothing happens to it. Goblin dog number 6 will completely fail to escape the entanglement and probably be shaken. No, it's not. It's a goblin dog. It's fine. That brings us to the wildcard goblin, who successfully unshakes. Right. He is going to attempt to cut himself loose of the entanglement and fell miserably. Shaking him, basically, the vines constrict. Shaking him again. Jelsa.
How much of this do I hear? Did Dondrad yell out, or? I didn't hear him yell out, so I'm going to start stalking along this cliff edge, along this path.
God, it's how many different combat encounters can the players get into at the same time?
Hey, we're going to find out.
There are 5 of us, so 5 encounters.
That's Schnookums. 6.
And Amber.
But I got a really good spell, so they don't notice me yet. Anyway.
Yeah, Snookums and Bird are always together, so.
Okay.
Hey, if the others can run off ahead and nobody gets mad at them, then I can.
Mm.
Yeah, Dundad doesn't so much shout. He's completely complaining, and after a while, you just tune him out, you know.
So, no, that would be all Jelsa's doing.
That's okay. I'm just basically as Jelsa's sneaking along the cliff face, she can see across the cliff face, so she might be able to. So I am adding to the map what she can see. So Goblin Dog number 4. No, just Goblin Dog is going to basically take advantage of the fact that Schnookums is basically smarting.
It's not Goblin Dog's turn, it's Bert's turn.
I apologise, sorry. You got me all confused there by targeting it, sorry. Because you never target, hence my confusion.
Right. Okay, so I'm going to start by... I'm going to start by... let me see, do I want to multi-action? Should I multi-action? Yeah, I think I'm going to multi-action.
Okay.
I'm going to start by shooting the doggy. I'm going to start by shooting the doggy. Oh, good grief. Fine. I'm going to start by missing the doggy.
You start by failing to shoot the doggy, you mean?
Yeah, and then I'm going to step over to here, and I'm going to cast a heal on Schnookums.
Oh, that's so sweet. Go for it.
Schnookums is going to kill the doggy next.
I know, but it's nice that I do like the in the middle of the fight. It's very much in keeping with Bert as well. In the middle of a fight where chaos is everywhere, all Bert cares about is the fact that Schnookums is bleeding. It's nice. And Schnookums unshakes automatically.
Unshakes. Schnookums will start by whacking the goblin dog.
Okay. Hang on. How many jokers did you get at the start of this session? 3, I think, in that task. To my count, Schnookums has still got 4 bennies left. Just for the record.
Schnookums is going to... How come it didn't target? It should have targeted.
That's okay. I'll
Oops,
target it
I
now.
did that wrong. So the 5 should hit.
The 5 should hit a goblin dog. Yep, that's a hit. Yep. Schnookums basically disembowels the goblin dog. Literally knocks it onto its back and then just literally... Knocks the goblin dog onto its back and just rakes its claws down the dog's stomach, and that's the end of that dog.
And that's the end of that dog. That's right. And then Schnookums is going to come over here next to these two and make menacing sounds.
Okie dokie. Remove the tanglement. That brings us to Arena, who is basically stabbing the constricted goblin.
I am going to wild attack that and then go off after Jelsa.
Okay, you wildly attack the entangled goblin. You hit it with a raise.
Wow.
That's quite depressing, really. Are you letting that stand, or do you want to re-roll?
I do have a lot of bennies. Go on then. Oh, well, that made such a difference.
Yeah,
Yeah.
8, 11. Yeah, it made no difference made no difference at all. But the goblin is wounded and shaken.
Okay, I'm going to assume that my vines can finish it off.
Mhm.
And bod off in that direction. Following Jelsa.
Following Jelsa, no problem at all. Okay, that is pretty much this turn's over because Jelsa was moving stealthily, so all the stuff that Jelsa sees doesn't see Jelsa. Dondrad just got a joker!
So Dondrad will shout whatever that says, and we'll try to break free for what we can do.
Why is... I'd love to know why I can't read the bloody translated text anymore as a GM.
It's alright, it's mostly swear words.
I got the help, but I didn't get the rest of it.
So, I'm wondering if I should multi-action here or not.
I wonder if I go into the chat log, it tells me what you guys typed. Oh yeah,
So
here,
what
help
else?
sneaky bugger kill him. Oh, I could finally see what other people said. I could see what people said earlier. That's an annoying bug. That
I'm
I have to
going
work
to
out what that is.
all in and multi-action break free. Expensive.
Okay, well that's all you can do because you can't do anything else when you're bound up.
But he multi-action, so he can try it twice.
Exactly. I don't disagree. He can try it twice. Yes, I'm not disagreeing.
Yeah,
with
but
that.
I'm bennying at the bonuses. But what I've done is I've 3 bennies in, and I have failed.
You still get your second action, which is another attempt to break free, of course.
Well, yeah, the second action is going to be another attempt to break free.
Because you're bound, that is all you can do. You can't perform any other actions. No, I'm afraid you are bound good and proper.
Whole list of expletives, so echo around the chamber.
Yes, everyone does hear a lot of dwarven swearing.
In which case, Rannick will turn to this bound up goblin in front of him and say, "Don't they go anywhere? Stunty needs help."
Wow.
Will run straight through the walls because he can.
Let's get you to there.
And so Dondrad's there all... Oh, okay.
Sorry,
In
I
which
didn't
case,
realise he wasn't visible.
In which case, Rannick will continue on into the goblin rather than cutting Dondrad free.
Weird.
And take a swing at him.
I'd love to see what equipment he's got, because it looks like he's got gear. He does. What? Okay, there's another. I found another. Found another bug.
I'll bugger you.
You know what, we'll try a Benny on that damage.
In fact, this looks very... Oh, that's because... Oh, this is where I get... Yeah. This is where it gets annoying, because it's very confusing how they labelled it out.
And as Rannick lays into this goblin with his sword, he's going to turn his head slightly and say, "Bloody hell, Stunty, I told him not to go into bushes. Look at you. You got yourself all caught up in it. Get yourself out and I'll kill goblins."
Can't see goblin.
Okay. Sorry. Parcels. GOG. GOG. Okay, yeah. Gogmert's equipment is absolutely missing, which is really annoying. Okay. And also is missing from his stats on the combat tracker. So you have hit him. And he soaks the damage. Okay, that brings us to Goblin Dog number 5, who's still entangled and fails to break free. I think that will be all he does. Nope, he's shaken. Goblin Dog 6 will attempt to bite at Schnookums, even though he's entangled. Should have used that to try and escape, actually, shouldn't he? Oh well.
He's bound up. He can't. All he can do is try to break free.
Yep, I take that back. So that's 6. So that will basically, I will take that back. He doesn't actually hit. What he does do, however, is he downgrades himself to entangled because he didn't get the raise on a 6. Thank you for reminding me of my own mistakes. Okay, so, okay. Right, okay, so basically he swings. Okay, it's going to need 2 actions. So what he does is using his... What? Did I really bugger up his stats?
What his stats are?
Or what they're supposed to be.
Hang on. No, I get the impression... Okay. Maybe I misread it. Yes! Okay. Sorry, this is the problem when obviously I'm still running through things and at the same time I'm checking stuff.
It's alright.
Yeah. Yeah, strength. Okay, so this is fortunately not me. So, if we look at this illustration here of Tangletooth and Godmerk, you notice he's holding a very interesting looking item in his right hand.
Swordy thing.
Yeah.
Kind of yeah.
Okay, no, it's my mistake. I got it wrong. I see what I've done wrong. Fine. I got very confused there. It's basically something I missed. So he's going to have to triple multi-action because I didn't do it earlier. So I need So that's my mistake. That's why I got very confused. I made the mistake of calling his smite power smite.
Not flame sword.
Was it supposed to be called flaming weapon?
It should have been called flame blade, yes.
And it puts flame on a blade.
Yeah, but it just confused the heck out of me because it's like, where does he have a flaming sword? Right. He would have actually done that last turn, but that's my mistake. Multi-action. He's failed that, hasn't he? I'll spend a penny to try again. Okay. So that would cost him 1 power point because he failed to cast it. He's going to try.
Wait, stop talking when I'm trying to hit you. Are you trying to cast us? Will you stop that? Here, Stunty, he's trying to do magic on me.
That's more like it. So he got the he's cut basically he casts flame blade upon. That's what threw me. He casts flame blade upon. Oh no, he just cast flame. Okay, no wonder I'm confused. Oh,
Yeah,
no wonder.
It's a smite for his fist.
It is a smite for his fist, isn't it? Yes. Bloody
Which
hell.
creates a flaming blade, which gives him the bonus damage.
Yes. Yes. But what a confusing... Yeah, because Flame Blade summons a blade of fire, doesn't it? But it's the way they phrased it. It's really, really...
Very poorly, yes.
Yeah, it's very annoying how they phrased that. So he has cast Flame Blade upon himself.
Right, so he's got a strength +4 punch now.
Yeah. So, yeah, which obviously counts as doesn't count. Basically, means he doesn't count as unarmed and everything else. Okay, so he does that. So he failed to do the other thing. So the last thing he's going to do then will be basically he points a wand at both of you.
Wonderful.
And that will be Faith, because he's a druid. And fails to basically in all the fun and games fails to activate it. Okay, Goblin. Sorry about that. The Goblin wildcard character remains shaken. And basically just implodes. Arena.
Well, he did what I told him to do. He stayed exactly there.
I'll tell you what, actually, if you really want to see a very sick spell, look up in the arcane conversion. It's a novice spell, costs 9 power points, and it is as nasty as it sounds. Implosion.
Once I can see.
Isn't it pretty out there?
Really, really nice.
It's a lovely view of it.
In fact, actually, I'm just thinking that maybe I want to upgrade this map. Another day.
Going to add the wibbly water.
Yeah, I'm quite tempted to think. I'm just thinking maybe I should add the wibbly water.
Oh no, Leo.
Makes me feel like I'm tripping right now.
You've got that water bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to add wibbly water and then mask it.
I can export this afterwards and add it to the updated version of the module. I've just done that the wrong way around. Anyway, I will do that another day. I'm not going to do it now. There we make sure I delete the right layer, otherwise I'll get very upset. Okay, so yeah, I will sort that out because I do think it would look prettier with wibbly water. But I'll do it properly, but not in the middle of an adventure. So, Amber, you get to there. You're looking across. As you can see, you're literally on a very high cliff top. In fact, I've got a description about the cliff area. The cliffs are 75 feet high. And it's very the cliffs are this sea air makes the edge of this cliff top very damp and slick, and therefore you want to be careful. The last thing you really want to do is plummet.
Mhm.
But anyway, Goblin. Oh, he's going to. Oh, he's bleeding. He's bleeding out. Oh no, he didn't because he didn't die. It doesn't take any damage, and he's going to stay where he is. That brings us to Julsa.
Well, I don't know if Irina can see what I can see. I stealthed out here, so they didn't notice me. And I'm gonna give a sign without moving too much to Irina to be careful. Well, I don't want to attract their attention. I don't want them coming across that bridge. I don't want to destroy it. So I want to use my telekinesis to kind of cause a ripple in the bridge to make them hesitate to step on it.
Well, don't forget you said you'd move stealthily, so they haven't necessarily seen you yet.
I know they haven't seen me, but I want them to be paying attention to the bridge because I hear.
Oh, sorry, I misunderstood you. Yep.
So I'm going to just cast this cantrip to cause the bridge to ripple or sway or act in some strange way that makes them nervous. Oh, I should have cast it on my casting page.
Ah.
Success.
Okay. That's absolutely fine. Not that you know it's called Kill Goal, but the goblins at the moment that are over the other side do appear to be playing some game which involves throwing stones at a seagull tied to the end of a long piece of twine.
Well, I can see them. Okay. After casting the cantrip on the bridge,
To make it wobble.
I'm gonna stealth forward.
Okay.
Oh, I'm gonna Benny that.
Okie doke. You cast cantrip on the bridge to make it creak and moan. There's a couple of the goblin dogs react and have a look. The goblins carry on playing Kill Goal.
And I'm moving very carefully, hoping Irina picks up on being stealthy.
That's interesting.
That did.
1, 2. I'm missing a goblin.
You checked under the sofa.
There is actually no. I mean, there are. It's showing 4 goblins on the combat tracker and showing 4 goblins on the map, but I can only see physically 3 goblins on the map, so I'm going to have to check that one out later. Okay, that brings us to Bert.
Bert will come over here and help Snookums take care of Goblin Dog 6. Oh,
Okay.
It looks like Snookums took damage. I need to roll for that, don't I?
No, Snookums didn't take damage.
Okay. That's right. He was bound, right?
Yep.
Okay, so like I said, I'm gonna help Snookums take care of this Goblin Dog. Yeah, even with the gang up, that's going to miss. So let's try that again. There we go.
You hit Goblin Dog 6. And shake him.
Well, they're both shaken, so that will mean Snookums can finish taking care of them.
Sounds good to me.
I am not getting Snookums to target again properly.
I don't know what's going on there. That is definitely there is some. I don't care what anyone says about the fact that it doesn't work anymore. It never used to work. One, it most certainly did, and 2, ally targeting is definitely a bit broken. Okay, so that's 12 points of damage on that goblin dog.
15, but yeah.
Well, yeah, okay. He's up here somewhere. Where is he? 15.
It didn't apply the +2 for being entangled to hit Goblin Dog 6.
Well, no, because it won't because the targeting wasn't there.
I forgot to target.
Ah, yeah.
Which actually means the other one, if it is entangled, is actually hit on a 5. Goblin Dog 3 is actually hit because you get a +2 because it's entangled. So you get to roll the damage on Goblin. Snookums gets to roll the damage on Goblin Dog number 2. That targeting works, so that's a wound. Okay, that's one less Goblin Dog. Huzzah, huzzah, huzzah. Let's get rid of blood splats because they just cause a mess. They just make things messy. And over here, what should we do? I think we shall run. Which is that one. And I think that's where we get to. The people, the vulnerable and tail for expiles. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, next round, Arena gets to go first.
I will take the hint and be sneaky, sneaky. In fact, will you allow me to turn into something I've not pre-prepared, like a seagull?
Well, you can turn into anything technically, can't you? So I can't really say
Yes.
no.
Yes. Okay then. I'm going to become a seagull.
That makes sense.
Yeah. That should make me fit in. I'm going to assume that it's got similar stats to a one of the other birds that I can turn into.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same
It's
thing.
just a bird with a trapping.
Yeah.
Mine.
The kite, for example, is probably similar to that. Gives me a pace of 24 when I'm flying. So.
Yep, there you go.
Should it?
I wonder if I've got a gull token. Mind you, don't forget they are playing kill gull, so did you really want to turn into one?
Yeah, because I'm only going to turn into one briefly, and then I'm going to drop down in their mess and turn back out of one again.
There we go. I actually have a seagull.
At the moment, I am there, but I am very high. I'm not down low. I'm way above them.
You might need to do the move again. I think changing your token does funny things to moves.
So I am there, but I'm a lot higher.
Okay. You're also flying backwards, but we won't worry about that. Bert.
You're the Moonwinger.
Yeah.
Bert moves to there.
Okay, Bert is, well, it's going to start by moving to there. He is going to have to run since he can't see the kitty cat. Bert will run to there and see the kitty cat, and I will shoot the kitty cat.
You're going to shoot the kitty cat?
It's not his kitty cat. What does he care?
True. The kitty cat bounces out of the way. A wonderful thing about tigers. Tigers are wonderful things.
Yeah, something like that. Schnookums saw me running, so he's going to run too.
You're the only one. Doesn't that make you an endangered species?
Yes. Schnookums will run to there.
Okay.
And can't get close enough to do anything.
Where's Tanglefoot? Tanglefoot is a far pelt animal, apparently. Far pelt is a cougar native of the region. Silky fur is a mix of red and black stripes. There we go. Rannick.
Burn sordid magic. That's bloody cheating, that is. Bloody. Here, take that. And Rannick will hit him as hard as he can.
Okay.
Targeting him for a change, that's good.
You hit him. He's very hard to spot. Bloody hell.
Oh yeah. I need to pay the bill.
So bad.
Please be unstoppable. Please be unstoppable. Please be unstoppable.
Because you spent all your bennies casting that spell, didn't you?
Most of them, yeah.
Three wounds.
That'll do.
Dondrad, you are shaken.
Oh, bugger. I'm going to Benny to unscrew.
Please do.
Although, do you have a... Not that it would make any difference, because it would still be a 2, wouldn't it? Yeah.
I didn't understand any of that.
Stunty, stop your singing. I want you to get over here. I'm waiting for your hammer to fall.
No, he's still stuck.
Yeah, I was just going to say, because obviously being entangled doesn't affect the shaking roll, but it doesn't matter if you roll a 2 anyway. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not going to Benny that. If I can.
Okay. You are unaffected by the entanglement. Okay, the goblin wildcard is no longer shaken. Can he escape? Nope. I don't think he's going to survive this constriction. Jelsa Sparkle tips. Over to you. Sorry, I was confused by the.
Okay, I'm not going after him this time. I want to lure them out onto the bridge. This time, she's gonna... She's gonna cast a light cantrip, a small burst that just appears, not, anything flashy, just a flash in the center of that bridge.
Okie doke. Just about this point, one of the goblins successfully hits the gull at the end of the twine with a stone. The gull falls dead to the ground. The goblin jumps on it, picks it up in triumph, and starts to eat it.
Ghouls are there circling.
Sorry?
How many ghouls are there in the area?
I don't know. By the sound of things, there's a few, doesn't there? But
So I've cast the flash that appears on the bridge.
Yep.
That'll catch their attention.
that will certainly
And-
attract the goblin dogs. Yes.
If there's a goblin refuse pile anywhere nearby, there'll be several dozen, if not hundreds, of ghouls flocking around it.
Then I'm gonna stealth just a little bit closer to that bridge. Because I've already distracted him with the flash anyway, but I don't want to get any closer.
Okay. Tanglefoot. Yeah, that's basically bursting out of the undergrowth and pouncing through the air, and on top of you, Rannick, comes a cougar.
Oh.
shaking you.
I'm sure you're very nice, but you're a bit old for me, don't you think?
Tish.
Sorry, wrong time.
Oh.
Okay. Okay, and then we're going to.
Did he just unshake and run off?
Yep.
Would I have had a chance to spend a penny to not be shaken and therefore get a hit on him as he ran off?
Well, the issue is there's a rather large cougar on top of you at the moment. But
I'll let it go.
then what I'm going to have to yeah. So then what we're going to do is something interesting. Whether it will work or not, this could be quite unpleasant. Because I'm really not entirely sure how this bit works. So I'm going to make the roll, get the raise, and then read it. Because I'm not entirely. I couldn't exactly work out how this one works, and whether it will actually affect. So, if the heroes have animal minions, he casts beast friends on one of them. So what happens if he casts beast friend on Snookums, which he just did with a raise, technically speaking?
He can speak to and control the actions of Snookums.
That's what I'm wondering. But then, do we treat it like puppet? I mean, can you make Snookums attack Bert? Which is what I get the impression they're trying to imply. That he takes control of the animals and turn them on the party.
If Schnookums is loyal, he'd probably get a roll to try and resist it.
I'd agree. That's what I'm thinking. I think I'd treat it like puppet.
Yeah. If it's like puppet, we'd get a roll to snap out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so I'm going to treat.
If it's making Snookums attack anybody other than Bert, I think Snookums would probably attack.
Quite possibly.
I'd be happy to chew up Jelso, I'm sure.
Indeed.
Well, you could just tell Snookers to wander off, and Snookers will happily wander off and go and do something else.
Yeah, it's not a familiar because a wizard's familiar is immune to beast friend.
Yeah, but I'm saying but in puppet you can tell a character to run away.
I think yeah.
And
that doesn't
and he automatically doesn't get a saving throw.
I mean, Godmert's a druid, so he's probably clever enough to notice things like that. I think that's what I agree. I think it's very much a case of basically Schnookums is suddenly bored with the whole thing and just wants to walk away. I think that's what we'll go with. Goblin dogs. The two goblin dogs canter onto the bridge to chase down the light. Next round. The goblins on the other side have noticed the two dogs run off and they're starting shouting annoying stuff in Goblin. Are you trying to summon up a gull swarm?
Ever give you that? Right, okay. I want to dive down to the ground, turn back into myself a few feet up, land in a 3-point superhero landing, raise my hand up to the sky, and call the gulls down to attack the goblins.
That sounds too cool to not say yes to.
Seagull swarm, all coming in going, mine.
Although they don't actually attack like hawks and more defecate on the goblins, which is quite unpleasant.
Definitely going to have to... Okay, that is Goblin 4. That's Goblin 3. Where is Goblin 2? Aha! Goblin 2 is completely in the wrong place. So that's a bug that I need to fix.
Yeah, you need to cast.
Okay, he won't let me...
My power tab's gone all funny. Every time I try and roll it, it just does that.
Weird.
That is weird. I'll just have to roll it the other way.
Look, because you've you know what a lot why you've changed your arcane background to 3 sorcerer.
What it is?
You
Well
change your arcane
spotted.
background to what?
3 sorcerer. If I do that,
What's a 3 sorcerer?
that makes a big difference there. Okay.
Because it's the way the arcane backgrounds are now linked. They're linked to the sorcerer arcane background. Second, you change the name of your sorcerer arcane background, all those spells are no longer linked to your arcane background.
Go and what the raise is worth before I decide whether or not I'm going to spend a penny.
I don't think it does anything actually getting a raise, does it?
A raise means the beasts are more obedient.
Well, I don't think that it's going to take a lot of persuasion to say peck the hell out of the little shits that are trying to kill you.
Success means they obey simple commands, they attack foes and endanger their lives for their master. A raise means the roles are more obedient. They won't kill themselves, but overcome their natural fears. So basically, yeah, I don't think a mass of seagulls would be too scared of goblins, so I don't think you need the raise.
What size swarm would it be? Because that denotes how many power points it cost me.
How big do you want?
Well, it's how many seagulls are there. Can't make it bigger than it is.
It's seagulls are quite big. Should we just split the difference and say it's medium?
Okay, that's fine. So a medium swarm of seagulls attacks. Those guys.
Rather appropriate time for all the sound effects to get louder, isn't it?
It is rather.
So a seagull swarm is dealt into the combat tracker and will basically be there and will be
If only
allied.
you have the Razorwing Swarm token from 50 Fathoms.
Yeah.
You mean the one I made for 50 fathoms?
Some hack made the 50 Fathoms mod, didn't they?
I have to admit, I have to admit, I do like the Pathfinder theme. Until for a long time, I'm not sure if it still is, but 50 Fathoms for a long time was my favourite theme I've ever done.
Very good theme.
I've played it 3-4 times. I keep going back to it. It's so much fun.
Although it did used to be better before they took the hard work off the buttons.
It did, yes. I agree. The buttons did make quite a difference. Okay, Rannick. You remain shaken.
Well, I'll spend a penny to not be shaken then.
Okay, there you go.
Now, you said that this cat's on top of me, yes? So
it landed on top of you, and yes. I mean, obviously, by you, I would say you getting out, being shaken, is you basically getting out from underneath the cat. Yes.
Okay, cool. Well, narratively, I want to bite its throat.
Ew, hairy.
Okay.
It's knocked me to the ground, and I'm going to get up from being shaken. But
when I say knock you to the ground, I don't mean literally knocks you prone, but you know what I mean. Knocks you down.
I know. But if we're carrying on that narrative, it's knocked me to the ground, and I am my arms are to my side. I'm not really able to bring my sword to bear, so I'm going to do effectively an unarmed attack. But I am going to be biting it.
Okay.
Yes, dear. I'm eating.
That would that's not a natural weapon for you, is it? So that's technically an unarmed defender attack, isn't it?
It is, but I've got bonus damage for my unarmed attacks anyway, so that's what I'm playing off.
Okay. Go for it.
Am I targeting it properly? Yes, I am.
It's okay. It's unarmed defender only matters when you're being attacked, not attacking. I was thinking of the improvised weapon. Okay, so you shake Tanglefoot.
So I'm going to bite into its throat and then throw it off and get back onto my feet. So
Sounds good to me. It is rather cool. I won't deny that. Okay, Goblin Dog number 5. Well, basically bites and snaps and stamps at the seagull swarm, but it doesn't actually do much because it's not got the sense to stomp or use area of effect spells because it can't.
Swarm do damage to it.
Yeah. At the end of your turn, while you're in a swarm, you take damage. So basically, the seagulls peck the goblin dog to death. Goblin dog number 10. Let's have a look. What was your last stealth roll? I don't think it was an 8, was it?
Like a 5.
Yep. I'm afraid the goblin dog sees you. Or smells you, more likely, isn't it? Because, that's how they use their sense of smell more than they use their sense of sight. So you got to there, so it gets to there. And basically pounces up to bite you. Ooh. I'm afraid it may... Well, yep, I'm afraid it does. Its jaws sink in towards you. Potentially puncturing through your leather armor.
I don't see that it took the run penalty in.
That's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because it did run.
Yeah.
I know nothing.
What is going on with this rule set? The rule set is getting more and more broken every time. I'm not having a kill here. It's every time Smiteworks updates it, he has to then fix all the little tweaks they've made. So something's going on. Why did that?
You're welcome, Sparkles.
It's a 4 anyway, so against a party of 6.
Okay, so it fails to actually bite. One day I'll get to her to play a character. Yeah, I did actually. We nearly killed her, don't we? So yeah, actually, careful what I wish for. Okay, he is going to. He casts Beast Friend. Beast Friend cost. How many points does Beast Friend? It depends on the size. What size is Snookums?
Snookums is a 0, therefore it cost him 1 point.
1 point. Thank you very much. That takes him down to 11 power points. He's then going to cast another spell. Which actually, I must admit, with the new one, I'd change it. But anyway, that's by the by. I really ought to put the links in. So he is doing that. Library. Player's Guide. No, Player's Guide. Allies. Interestingly, it doesn't tell me how many powerful he is, so we're going to say he's getting a bodyguard. That's the easiest way to do that. I'm not sure what that just rolled there, but anyway, we'll worry about that later. And the range of that is smarts, so we will put there. The ground starts welling up in front of you, Bert, and a humanoid construct made mostly of earth appears in front of you. And it swings at you, which you deftly duck. Dondrad, you are still entangled.
Wriggle. I'm going to stay entangled this whole game.
You are, aren't you? Jelsa, a dog failed to bite you after someone pointed out that
Yeah, I saw him
count.
come running towards me, so I pulled my scimitar and was
Yeah.
waiting for him.
I remember a session where Cliff remained shaken for the entire game.
I'll Benny at one time.
Please do. I just closed the whole...
I spent a whole bunch
missed
of pennies trying to get ahead of these things. And I was going to ask you if you thought if I spent another Benny, I could fill that inside straight. Oh, I didn't. Oh, I
You hit the goblin dog. Actually, that reminds me, I need to take all of these guys off hold. And I need to deal them a card, even if that puts them annoyingly higher combat tracker, which I will deal with in a second. Jelsa, you wound the dog. You skewer the dog, and it goes down to be no more. So
I'm just now that I've been spotted. I'm gonna back the hell up a little bit.
That's okay.
Yeah,
That's fine. Okay. Goblin dog number 7. I'm just going to interrupt you, Bert, because I forgot to take these things off hold when Seagull Swarm attack them. Which has no effect on those. And then we get to you, Bert. Sorry about that.
It's all good. It happens. Bert is going to start by getting some power points back.
Okay.
And now Bert is going to cast Entangle. Right there.
Okay.
Since I saw him disappear into that wall, I'm going to make that wall just become a very difficult problem.
But if you've got Wilderness Stride, surely you can avoid an entanglement.
Yeah, no. So 2 areas 4, damage is 6, fatigue is 8, and tough is 9.
You're caught spending 9 power points on an entangle. Okay, well, if anyone was in there, they would be bound, wouldn't they?
Yes, they would be bound, strength 10.
And the GM would be very annoyed that he forgot to move them, if anyone was in.
They are fatigued.
And they would be incredibly annoyed that he forgot to move them.
A little bit of sleeping poison on the tips of those thorns, rather.
Okie dokie.
Okay, and that will be Bert's turn.
Okay.
And Schnookums is going to look up at this pile of dirt and just kind of move away. It's like, I don't want to get dirty.
Exactly. Well, in fact, Schnookums Schnookums has got a new friend and he's basically just going to walk off. He's just not going to get involved in the fight. He's not going to attack you, but Schnookums, as you say, just walks off. What's the duration of Beast Friend, actually?
Depends.
10 minutes.
Last for 30 minutes.
10 minutes for Beast Friend, apparently. So, okay, Seagull Swarm. This is where it gets really interesting. Why is... I really wish I knew why this does it. So basically, every so often, the rule set, they'll change something in the rule set. So all the attacks you set to be not needing any skills suddenly stop being skills and get set to being something like thrown or melee again. Winds me up. Spend all the time and effort fixing it, and then something breaks it again. Oh well. And this is in QA as well, so I'm going to have to fix it. Hitting automatically, damaging the template at the end of their turn. So swarms don't actually do anything on their own turn. They just sort of move around, making sure that on the end of other people's turns, it hurts them. Okay, Tanglefoot's not very amused by the fact that you did this and decides that maybe you really need to be taught a lesson. It can't pounce you because it's already engaged in combat with you. And it's going to slash at you again with its claws, raking you as best it can.
Kitty.
It's going to spend a penny on that. That's a bit better. Because it really gouges you. Really gouges you.
Yeah.
Oh, Thistletop. Well, I love the way you managed to activate every encounter on this side of the island at the same time. You take a wound.
I'll take the wound.
For your picture and sound quality.
Okay, that brings us to the Thistletop goblins, who are going to attempt to stamp their way out of trouble. And I don't think it's going to do him much good.
Alright. Right.
Strength.
Can I get on it?
Shakes that one.
The snake was horrible.
Strength. Oh. What's the toughness of the seagull swarm? The seagull's tough 7, so that isn't enough to do anything to the swarm. I think I'm going to make this the goblin that won kill goal, as it is the first to be pecked. Ooh, it is the first to be pecked viciously, but it doesn't go down. Forgot they're Thistletop goblins.
Resilient.
Okay, Bert is using 6 of spades because he's hesitant, and the bad guy's got jokers. Hurrah! Goblin dog number 7. Well, it's not clever enough to work out you can't just buy individual gulls, and basically is shaken. Goblin dog 8 is the same thing. You know, they're killing individual gulls, but the amount of gulls that came in, it's not going to have any real effect on it, and is shaken. Tanglefoot. Pounces off you.
Mm-hmm.
And sort of heads on round there. And will basically start clawing at stuff. Doing
In all fairness,
9 points damage,
Goblin-
not enough.
In all fairness, wasn't Goblin 8 the one on the bridge?
No, the goblin dog's on the bridge.
Oh,
Yeah, so the goblin dog wasn't in the goal swarm.
Okay, point taken. I understand where you're coming from. I obviously moved the wrong one onto... Actually, I must have moved the wrong one onto the bridge earlier. Or I was mistaken. Let's split them then. That'll make life easier.
I mean, I'm perfectly happy to have him shaken, but
That's absolutely fine. I shall say congratulations. I shall give everyone pennies for their honesty and everything else. So I am going to, if he's entangled, he can't move, he can only break free. Well, he's gonna have to use his flame blade, isn't he?
My chromas not accepts like you.
Except she made it toughness 10.
And also, if he's fully bound, he can't even attack the thing he's on. He's got to try and wriggle free to get to entangled, so he can then attack it.
Yeah, the only thing he can do is try to break free, not attack it.
Okay.
Yeah, I know how that feels.
Irina, the seagull coral. Oh, actually, no, you're a human form. Hang on, though. Okay, I just like to point out something here.
But I'm in seagull swarm as well.
Yes.
That's fine. You can apply it to me.
Your shape change powers to 1.
So long as you move before the end of your turn, you're okay.
Yes.
Shape change works.
Shape change lasts for 5 rounds. I don't know if there's any reason you couldn't be able to turn back into a girl if it's still in those 5 rounds.
Do you think, Kev?
Turn back into a gull and join the swarm.
With a raise the roll, you may choose to transform the hardier version of the type. Weapons burst effects assumed well transformed. It doesn't say. I think you're by changing back, you're choosing to end the spell early, aren't you? You're mainly dispelling it.
I thought that too.
Yeah.
I think I'm just going to step out of the swarm
Okay.
and observe what I've wrought.
You're just going to go and lean in the corner.
Yeah, I'm just going to lean on the wall and enjoy the show.
In that case, what I suggest is you actually go and stand, if it lets me get you there. Oh, for crying out loud. Stand there. Because otherwise, the swarm's sort of all in there, so you just sort of have to wander out the side and just stand out the way and watch it. Okay, Rannick, you remain shaken.
I will spend a penny and not be shaken.
There you go.
I will then step over to Dondrad and attempt to cut him free.
Okay, go for it.
Do I need to roll to hit?
Technically, it's parry too, yes.
Okay.
Basically, it's a case of don't critically fail, isn't it? Really. And don't forget, you can't explode the stuff, so no.
I will make all the necessary phone calls.
You know what? I'll spend a penny on the damage.
Okay. Dondrad, did I do toughness 8 or toughness 10? Toughness 8, so you just don't cut through.
Damn it.
Still lots of
coming out, am I?
But
Okay, Bert will. Yeah, Bert's going to go ahead and take care of this construct. Let us swing our sword. Let us swing our sword. Oh, good grief. It bounced away from the 8.
nothing worse, is there? I forgot
Yeah.
to spend the power. I forgot to spend the power points for the bodyguard. That was 4 power points. Okay.
And I can hear Tanglefoot over there tearing things up, so I'm going to go ahead and walk away from this construct.
Although a recent study doctor.
You just walk away from it. It swings completely ineffectually at you.
And that will be my turn.
And Schnookums, for the next 10 minutes, doesn't want to get involved with the fight, just wants to just be away from everything.
Yeah, I'm going to go out there and play tag with Amber for a little bit.
Yeah, sounds like a good plan. So I'll just do that to there. That gets Schnookums just out the way. Because I don't care what... I don't see any... I really don't see any way Schnookums can be compelled to attack you. So, yeah.
You actually managed to cut anything. Have you actually managed to cut anything? Oh, wait a minute, that's a bit loose.
See, I loosened it for you.
You're free, Dondrad! You're free!
Right, let's move at my maximum pace together.
So, you Stunty, bad guys are that way.
He
doesn't mean anybody else.
Today. Jelta.
I have to get free, and then they walks away from bad guys.
Jalsa's
No,
going
they're not allowed to walk away from bad guys.
full move. And she
Where the bad guys
to
are.
waste this on individuals, but
Bad guys are that way.
I want to clarify this. You're going to cast your fireworks spell at a bad guy on a wooden bridge.
yes, I am.
Okay.
I just was checking to see if I get it, but no.
So the rope bridge spans the gulf between the cliff and the roundest flat-topped island 60-some feet to the north. Thick patches of nettles and briars grow here and atop the island, but the most impressive feature is the wooden one-story stockade. 2 30-foot tall watchtowers guard the stockade, apparently. Okay, I can't see those on the map now. The rope bridge is made of hairy rope and thick wooden planks. The whole thing creaks and sways in the wind above the churning surf 75 feet below.
Surely it's just as damp and wet as the tangled thistles that we've just had to make our way through rather than burn down.
Probably.
Probably more so because it's, above the ocean.
Yeah. I'm not saying otherwise. I
only shook him.
You only shook him. I'm just asking if you were casting a fast spell at the wooden bridge. That was all.
Yes, I was. It's Josa.
Indeed. The Thistletop goblin remains shaken and therefore dies. As the seagulls, he won't die because of course they're resilient. Oh, he will recover from being shaken if he doesn't kill. Yep. So basically, the net result is. Yep.
Yeah, fire on a wooden bridge isn't half as bad as casting havoc on a wooden bridge.
No, I agree. My word, those goblins really went to town on Kilgore Boy. They literally pecked him to death. Okay. Combat round 8, and Rannick gets a joker.
Right, so, bounty, bad guys, like I said, this way. Reach him without running. Don't think I can I? Well, it'll have to be a run then.
I'm afraid you get to there and then stop because, mind you don't have to get any further. But anyway,
I can't see it anymore, but I also can walk through walls here.
I know.
And with the shout,
which once upon a time you could, but of course when they tweaked that so you can't walk through walls anymore, this map is suddenly a bit more painful.
And then with a shout of "Bad Kitty!" he brings his sword down on Tangletooth.
That's a hit with a raise on Tangletooth.
Ooh!
Is Tangletooth unstoppable? Yes. No, Tangletooth is not unstoppable. Critical fail, crit fail, sorry. I wasn't looking at what I...
Tangletooth's head off.
Yeah. I think I have just decapitated Tangletooth.
Yeah, I think you have. Sorry, I was looking at the tracker. I wasn't looking at the dice because it doesn't really matter. It's only when you all started screaming blue bloody murder, I thought, oops.
Yeah, well, you got a baby bit before your head cut off, so that's nice, isn't it?
No, it was Tangletooth's bennies. He had his own. Tangletooth was a wild card.
Yeah.
Dondrad!
Dondrad will there.
You know the construct is affected by logically speaking, the construct is affected by the Dondrad turns around and marches back the other way. Net result, after 2 turns of movement, he's back where he was when he was entangled.
I can't see anybody, but I've had enough of this. I'm going to target Rannick and set him on fire. Don't move. Don't wiggle. Hang on. Right. There we go. His blade goes a bit sparkly. Be careful what you poke with that, because it's going to give him quite a nasty shock.
So you casting smite on Rannick's dragon blade, bane blade. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. The seagull swarm is not going to do much. Okay, Jelsa.
So with a raised, so that's plus 4 damage.
That's what I put on you. That's what I put on you.
Yeah, you get the dragon smite goes to +4 damage.
Chelsea's gonna step to the end of the bridge.
One day, someone's going to go and investigate that. I suspect.
Oh, I'll Benny that.
Like they put this really cool sounding effect in and say, "By the way, it's 75 feet straight down. Off you go."
And everybody goes, no.
Oh, that's it.
Actually,
You
yeah.
could send our local seagull down.
That is very true. Arena, it's quite carnage. The goblins, it's carnage over here. It's absolute carnage.
You're having fun just watching.
Yeah. I've really grown an absolute loathing for goblins, so watching them get pecked to death, I'm finding it very entertaining.
Okay. Do you want to do
And if
anything
any of them
else?
start to escape from the swarm, I'm going to push them back into it.
Yeah.
Hate him almost as much as Rannick and I do very shortly here.
If I put you there, you can actually see what's going on better, can't you?
Yeah.
Hey, that one looks like it might have got out. You should go and push it in.
Yeah, if it's getting out of the swarm, I will push it back in.
It's not actually outside the swarm because if you actually once you click on the once you click on the swarm token, once you click on the token, he's inside the area of effect. If that makes sense. It's only when you.
Sure.
Yeah. So I just thought I'd move you there so you could actually see it, and you're not inside the wall, so I have less problems.
They're going to go next and probably die.
I will watch and enjoy it.
Okay.
You just can come off hold.
That's one bloodthirsty
That's a good
elf.
idea. I'll do that. Okay, Goblin Dog number 7 unshakes. Doesn't really work. Bites a few more seagulls and probably gets shaken again. No, is unharmed. I think Goblin Dog number 7 is then going to go yelping out of the area of effect over to here.
I'm going to come off hold and push it back in.
or you could just stab it.
Or that. Yeah. All right.
Isn't she, oh no, she controls the swarm. She is not in the swarm.
No, she could drop there.
No, stop that. Sir?
Okay, you hit with the Goblin Dog with a race. I would like to actually end the fight tonight, but leave it now. As long as we're having fun. Okay, you skewer the Goblin Dog. Thistletop Goblin. Thistletop Goblin is shaken. Thistletop Goblin number 2 looks like he's going to unshake. Doesn't do anything. Takes. Is shaken, but actually will run screaming out first, which same with the other one actually would as well. Although he's still shaking anyway, but he see, that's that's where it gets interesting. If they move outside, I'm going to say if they get shaken, they can't escape. I just want to speak. Yeah, so if they get shaken, they can't escape the swarm. That's the easiest way of doing that. I think swarms actually aren't that effective anymore if you actually work it out how the rules work, as it were. Okay, I'm going to.
He can't do anything but try and get free, can he?
He is still bound.
Critical fail.
Okay, the construct is going to have to run. It gets to move 5 whole inches because it hasn't got wilderness step like certain other individuals that don't as well. Oh, I think this might be a punch on Bert. I think this is a colossal punch coming in on Bert.
Again, there was no -2. There was no -2 for the run.
Oh no. The whole bloody system seems to be balked.
For how long?
So
I'll tell you
we're
what-
going to raise.
I'll tell you what it is if I don't click the run button, I just do it the old-fashioned way like I used to, where you could just double-click on the pace for the NPC. It's no longer registered. Basically, what seems to have happened...
It has to go through the run button, huh? Interesting.
Yeah. Basically, what seems to have happened, even though apparently it never did this before, but the combat tracker no longer seems to keep track of whose current turn it is and assign things to them. Even though it always used to work, but apparently it never did the work like that. So, anyway, you took a wound, Bert.
No, because the -2 would have turned that into just a basic hit, which would turn that into a shake.
Yeah, because remove any one of those dice and it would take it down to shaking instead of a wound.
I hate all of you. I do. I hate all of you. I don't really.
It's good for you. It's good for you.
Except possibly Jelsa. Just got to type RPG top. I hate Jelsa.
We have cookies.
Okay. You know what? I think I'm going to step into this wall here and see if I can figure out where this guy is so I can just chop him.
Okay. Should I be hurt that Jelsa's still playing epic RPG while role playing, or should I be impressed that she's
so am I.
multicasting? She's multitasking.
Hey, I'm not the only one.
I know.
And I'm only doing the basic stuff.
Don't worry, I'm only teasing you. Don't worry. Believe me,
I'm not the least bit worried about it, or I wouldn't do it.
I'm still in first place, so I don't care right now.
I mean, I'm pretty sure
crikey,
you didn't
you're
really
2% behind me.
on
You're 2% behind me. You'll be overtaking me tonight. Anyway, but yeah, you step into the hedgerows, and you find the guy really strung up like a kipper right now.
Yeah, and I will chop him.
Go for it. Don't forget to target him. Thank you.
Not a problem. Let's go ahead and Benny that.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
You hit him. Hang on. Sorry a second. Something's wrong. So obviously, something happened. I just need to retroactively change something because he should have renewed it. Let's put it down to 3. That would have cost him a PowerPoint to maintain, which then means that goes up. It's still 2 wounds, which will still incapacitate him, so it doesn't make any difference on anything, but I want to get it right. He ignores the entangle, which means he rolled a 2. So you kill him.
Is he dead or just unconscious dead?
Unconscious dead. He made his incapacitation roll. He made his incapacitation vigor roll. Look at that. Even with the -2 entangle penalty that shouldn't apply.
Now all we need to do is wake him up and tell him that if he tells us everything he knows about what's over on the other side, we won't give him to the dwarf.
Schnookums, as far as I'm concerned, is no longer affected by Beast Friend. So what does Schnookums want to do?
Probably act confused for a bit.
The Snookums is... Let me see. Can Snookums get to the construct? Not quite, huh?
Oh,
Construct won't be there anymore.
yeah, I was going to say, Construct won't be there either.
Well, but Snookums doesn't know that.
No, I agree, yeah.
He would come darting in and go, "Oh, it's just a pile of dirt." Bummer.
Right. I am also just going. Nope, I've got to remember. I've got to do this the right way. I can't just do that. What I need to do. I'm going to have to request that. That'd be nice. What I'm going to say is, for all intents and purposes, we know what's going to happen. The seagulls are eventually going to peck everything to death. So rather than worry too much, you know what I mean? Rather than drag it out any longer, I'd rather end today, because we are close to the end, with everyone basically having completely defeated all the external stuff. Turn off those seagulls. Bye-bye, seagulls.
I think you're going to have to drag me out of the hole. Don't tell the elf.
Yeah.
But I'm getting so what, right. I need to fix that goblin druid because his gear is missing. Tangle needs damage. T3 is missing from the map. So okay, nice playtest session. So basically, what I'm going to say is you'll drag the unconscious body of the goblin. Not that you know it's called Dogma, but he is out from the thistles. And what we shall say for ease of movement and everything else is assuming that I'll leave everyone where they currently are, and we'll take it from there next week. It's a bit of a hard stop.
So Bert's got a chance to spend pennies on his PowerPoints. Here, Bert, can they fix this hole in my side? It really hurts.
Yeah, I can probably do that.
So how much, Lee?
Actually, I'm seeing
There
the
you go.
translations now. I don't know why I wasn't showing them earlier. Is that you typing the translation?
No.
No, it is working now. For some reason earlier it wasn't doing it, and I don't know why. Or I wasn't noticing it. Yes, I was being a muppet. It was been working all along. It puts I tell you what is happening is it's the silliest of things. It puts the translation above, not below.
And therefore you missed it.
Yeah.
And therefore,
Yeah,
I wasn't noticing it. That it was above, which is, I know it's the silliest of silly things, but that's all it was. Well, anyway, you successfully massacred this side of Thistletop by basically activating every encounter at once. And then, for good measure, because you didn't think having all one side of the encounters, you decided to start activating encounters on the other side of the bridge as well. But anyway, as we leave it, Irina's on the far side of the bridge. Jelsa's basically just skewered the goblin dog on the bridge because, to be honest, it's easier than to keep making roll for the pointlessness of it there. And you've captured Gogmort, so we shall leave it there. And
Panic and Bert have got Gogmort.
Indeed.
And we'll threaten him with the dwarf.
And next week, we will find out what you can find out. And we'll see what happens when Jelsa is the first person to cross the bridge.
I think she's tiny.
Well, yeah, who knows? We'll see what happens when she tries to cross the bridge.
It's the
But
brawny
anyway.
half-orc and the dwarf in plate mail that I'm worried about.
Very much so. Oh, give us a couple of secs. Obviously, thanks very much. If you want to, if you wish to, you need to leave and get on with other things. That's fine. If you want to stay and chat, give us a couple of secs, and we are more than happy to have a chat. But otherwise, thank you very much. See you next Tuesday for a bit more. So there we go. They survived what was a very long fight, but it was interesting. I found more bugs. I'll get them fixed and updated, so hopefully they'll be patched by next week. I found quite a lot of bugs this week, doing a lot of stuff. Arcane conversions helped me highlight some issues in some of the power spells. Obviously, having the core rules released, lots of people have been finding lots of typos and other stuff, so we'll get there. It's amazing how much stuff we missed on the playtesting, but thanks very much, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. See you again soon.